welcome to the Talking Theology. No, that's not the name of the podcast. It's called something else.
Welcome to the Talking Nonsense.
And that's it. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. Hello, you're listening to the Talking Turkey Theology podcast with Rodger and Øystein. And we have this podcast because we want to talk about real life issues and things going on in our lives. And also we want to relate that to our faith in God. And today we want to talk about making some changes in our lives and how that sometimes can be difficult, but also that it's possible. And I have known Rodger, have had him as a good friend for, I think it's now almost 13 years, Rodger. And we have actually just lived in the same city or even the same country for just 2 years. But still we are very good friends and close friends, and I really appreciate that. So, Rodger, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing good, Øystein. We're almost about to go on a little break, and so I'm getting ready and packing and stuff like that, and looking really forward to having a little break with my wife. And good to talk with you as well. Good to see your lovely face and get together again. You had some good idea. You had a really good idea for this one, and I thought it was excellent. To talk, maybe be a bit more personal this time, and talk about some stuff that, like you said, how we can change stuff in our lives as well. I don't know, because sometimes you've all seen, I guess everyone's seen or heard the people that say, okay, well, if I can change, anyone can. And sometimes you think, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
True.
But yeah, I think, it is possible, but it's a journey as well. And it's not just straightforward. It's not just a straightforward thing to make changes in your lives or disciplines or, change habits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know that, it can be, we can have different reasons for wanting some change in our lives. And some of them are that like we see something good that we want or we need, and then we are drawn to that and we kind of focus on that. But sometimes there are changes that involves maybe some negative stuff that's going on in our lives, and we want to change kind of from that. What do you think is a good way to start when you have something going on in your life that's difficult, and you know that, oh, I don't want to have this in my life, or I don't want this to be ruling over me? How do you start to relate to that and to do something about it?
Yeah, I think it's probably different for different people, but I think you need to recognize it as a problem, I think, or recognize it as something you need to change. And sometimes circumstances will wake you up. And it's sometimes we want to take the credit. Sometimes, you want to take the credits and think, okay, yeah, I did it my way. Just like the song. But it's sometimes a lot of circumstances. There are people around you that point things out, or just something happens, and you just realize, okay, now I could make some big changes in my life.
Yeah.
And I guess that happened for me. It's still a journey. It's still it's still a journey for me, and I'm nowhere near perfected in any way in anything. But the thing is, cut a long story short, my dad got ill. I talked a little bit about it. It was a tough time because he was living in another country.
Yeah.
So a bit of travel back and forth, seeing him suffer. Also, questions to God as well, as why he had to suffer so much. As he was a believer, and his church were amazing. His church was just so supportive and helping him in every way, and that's what helped me through in a way. Me being in another country, knowing that they were supporting him and stuff like that, but having these feelings of like, am I such a great son, and stuff like that. Yeah. But all through that time, I think I was like maybe neglecting myself a bit, maybe in my spiritual walk as well with God, neglecting my own body. So, I've been putting on weight. I put on probably too much. I did put on too much weight because I was just getting to the point where just walking up the stairs, I would be heavy breathing afterwards, like out of breath, and just realizing this is not normal. This is not normal for someone of my age. So, and I think what brought it to a head was just going to the doctor, actually about something else. I wasn't going to talk to her about my weight. So, but then, the doctor said to me, you are overweight, and you're not just overweight, you're verging on obese, so, and that was a wake up call for me. That was like a slap in the face, or I like to say sometimes, like a slap in the face with a wet fish. And that woke me up. I think it definitely put me on a process to think about, okay, I'm going to have to make some changes. And it wasn't like, I can't say that I got some big revelation from God, or that I pulled myself together or anything like that. It was just a case of sometimes circumstances, and I think sometimes God, he uses circumstances like this to wake us up.
So you started reflecting on your own situation, but how did you feel at that time? Like when you said something about walking up the stairs, but just your daily routines and work, and how did you feel when it comes to energy and just coping?
My energy was really low, and also I was having lots of headaches, and that was also due to my kind of like sleep disorder as well. So it was, I just could feel it on the whole of my body, really. Just kind of coping. I was carrying around. I'm 20 kilos lighter now, so I was carrying around at least 20 kilos of fat extra. So it's like having a couple of shopping bags around your waist extra. So that, of course, that was affecting me, affecting my, when I was walking, when I was doing stuff, it was just adversely affecting me. So, God uses people around us. He uses our spouses. He uses our kids sometimes. He uses other people in our church. He uses maybe someone on the street.
Yeah.
He uses the doctor, to talk to us sometimes.
It's true. And now we revealed already that you were able to take off 20 kilos, and we're going to talk more about how that happened. But when you came home from the doctor that day, did you kind of make some decisions already then, or did it take a while before you decided I need to do something?
I think firstly I was probably just a bit stunned. It was just like, shock feeling, because you don't think it's that bad, You walk around and you think, okay, it's not that bad. I'm not that bad, or this habit isn't that bad, or whatever. I think that's very, very human thing to think and do. So I think just basically I was a bit shocked and talked to my wife as well about it, and yeah. So I think in the beginning, in the first day or so, it was just like walking around with this shocked feeling inside, and but also just knowing, okay, gotta do something now. Gotta do something, not just for myself, but also for my family.
Yeah.
So no, it wasn't like instant, but then I think just something. I made a decision, but also that message from the doctor helped me to make the decision to say, okay, let's do something. Let's, and it's going to have to be radical. It's going to have to be. For me, everyone's different. For me, it's like, okay, I've got to just radically change stuff, and for it to work, because like gradual stuff maybe doesn't work as well with me. I just need to change. I just need to twist my mind and change my mind and say, okay, right, stop that and do this, or replace that habit with this habit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But from like feeling a little bit overwhelmed by this report from the doctor, and to finding some kind of inspiration or motivation to do something, what made it hopeful for you to be able to think that I will change something? What gave you hope?
Yeah, well, I think it's a cliche, but I mean, it was God really that gave me hope. So just my faith in God, my faith in Jesus, because that's the first. I went to God as well and said, God, help me. I need your help on this. I also decided to listen to positive messages, maybe podcasts, Christian podcasts, not even Christian podcasts, but podcasts about lifestyle and stuff like that, where people have done certain things to make a change in their lives, and just been inspired by that, just been inspired by other people's journeys as well, and took a decision to, okay, I'm going to listen to people who have done it before. I'm going to listen to people that have gone through that journey or gone through that transformation. Yeah. And it might not have been about their weight or anything, but it just might have been about like a positive lifestyle change. And I think to quote Paul, you hear people say like in the Bible it says a little bit of how does it say now? A little bit of physical, working on physical activity and stuff is useful. And I think sometimes Christians have twisted that, saying, okay, meaning that doesn't really have much use, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That people use that to say, okay, that it's the spiritual that's the most important thing, and you don't need to work on your physical well-being. But I think it's connected. I think that I think Paul was really saying that you need to do both. That you need to work on your physical health and your spiritual health.
Oh, that's good. I think what you're touching on here is something I'm concerned about. It's a little bit about theology, isn't it? That kind of how you view creation, how we think about us humans created in the image of God. Sometimes we think I am a spirit who have a soul, who live in a body, and then we think that our spirit is on the top and then our body is at the bottom, and we don't really need to take so much care of our bodies because it's all about the spirit and all about our spiritual life.
Yeah.
But with my whole heart, I really believe that God created us as whole persons in His image. Yeah. So He created our bodies. He gave us our souls. He created us as us, and that means that we should take care of us. So
Yeah,
we kind of honor him, and it also says that our bodies are a temple of the Spirit.
yeah,
So it means that, yeah, the whole of us
yeah,
are important to God.
yeah.
Mm.
I agree. I mean, I think that yeah, if we just want to look at the theological aspect of this, which I think is important as well, is that the Jews, they had a holistic view of spirituality,
Yeah.
and I think that also that transferred to the disciples as well. That have a holistic view of the body. And also when we look, we've just had Easter. So when we look at the resurrection as well, that also is, we live in a society today where many Christians just think of life as we have a body, we're a spirit, and when we die, we go to heaven, and our spirit floats around with God in some other dimension forever on a cloud, which is absolutely not what the Bible teaches.
No.
about a new heaven and a new earth and resurrection for everyone.
It's true.
A new resurrected body. I mean, Jesus said we would have bodies like his, which was a physical body. The disciples could touch him. He ate fish. He had breakfast. He made them breakfast. So we will have resurrected bodies one day, and I'm actually happy for that, because lots of people will be happy for that go through life with different ailments and sicknesses and stuff like that. Not all sicknesses can be treated. I mean, of course, we hold out for miracles. We believe in miracles. We believe that God can heal. But for some reason, which I can't explain, some people don't get healed or don't get healed immediately. And I think the healing that is promised is sometimes, promised as a resurrected body. That might be controversial for some. I don't know, but that's what I believe.
But then knowing this, even in our lives, with our challenges, with our temptations, and with our habits, we can know this and believe that it's important to take care of our bodies, and it's important to eat right and take care of our bodies. But then it seems like it's still difficult to do that sometimes. Like you have a way of living. We all live in this world. We create our own kind of habits and how we live, and it's still sometimes difficult to be able to do something about it.
Yeah, it is, to make that transition. It is difficult, and it's a constant thing. So I'm not sitting here saying that I've cracked it, or that I found the answer or anything, because it's a daily struggle. But it's just about waking up and making a decision every day, I think. For me, I started going to the gym. That was like the first step. I knew I had to work on my body, and also, it's like I said, body is holistic. It's also spiritual. So I mean, I think, okay, I'm going to be on this treadmill for a while, so I might as well listen to something upbuilding. Like I said, it was, sometimes I would just listen to a good Christian podcast or teaching, or other stuff where people have changed their lives and stuff like that, and that helped. But I knew it had to be a radical change, so I thought, okay, I've been able to run before, and it's actually a miracle that I could start running again, because I've had back trouble as well. I had an accident when I was 20 something. Can't really remember, but I was playing badminton, and I felt something twang in my back, and I'm sure it was muscular or something. But ever since then, I've had a reoccurring back problem. But when I started running again, it actually made it better. So where some people would recommend the opposite, okay, you've got back trouble, you shouldn't run. For me, it was the opposite. They actually helped me. So for me, it was just about keeping those muscles warm, about keeping those muscles exercised, and I think that for me that helped my back trouble. So actually, it's actually very seldom now that I get any back trouble.
Wow, that's great.
So it's crazy. It's crazy, but it worked. And I felt like a bit like Forrest Gump, anyone who's seen the film, if I was going anywhere, I was running. So, yeah, but it's true. It's almost true. I mean, I run. I started running like 1 and 2K, and then I stepped it up to 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8, and so now I'm running, anything between 5 and 23K.
Whoa.
So yeah.
How many days a week? Times
3 or 4 days a week.
Wow.
I'm running. So, and I try to do 20 plus K once a week.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I suppose it's okay for a 51-year-old.
Oh,
51-year-old, I suppose.
Wow. Yeah. So
I mean, I'm still probably got a few kilos too much, but my body's feeling a heck of a lot better.
Wow, I can imagine.
Yeah. And my mind as well. My mind is feeling clearer as well. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure about your mind though. Kind of, if there's any hope for your mind, but
no, it's gone. Sorry, it's gone.
Sorry.
Øystein, it comes from this theological study. It messes with your brain, doesn't it? And it's probably studying with you that did it. So. They say, the old proverb says, never study with a Norwegian.
Yeah, it does.
You didn't hear that one, did you?
No, I haven't read it, but it's probably somewhere. So, but you didn't just start running. I know that from when you started doing these changes, you also changed your diet, how you ate.
Yeah.
How important was that for you on this journey?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's important, and as well, I have to say as well, I love potato chips.
Oh,
I just love potato chips.
You love your bacon.
Yeah. I love my bacon and stuff like that. So yeah, it's tough. It was tough for me, but I knew I need to make some like radical changes, especially in the beginning. Like I said, that works best for me. Is to do like a radical change from one day to the next. That works best for me. With some people, they can do gradual stuff, and that's fine if it works for them. But for me, I just needed to got to just make a change. So I cut down on, everything that had to do with, I cut down on rice and pasta and potatoes. Just ate more veggies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Got this app on my phone where I could just work out how many calories everything was, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the beginning, I would just eat meat and veggies and no carbs, or very few. Very cut down on the potatoes and the rice and the pasta and stuff like that. So,
Did you have to eat a lot less than you used to, or did you just change what you ate?
I think what worked for me is just changing what I ate, because, I think that's and eating stuff that makes you feel full. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because when you eat more protein, when you eat more stuff with, if you just stick to the high protein stuff, also like I ate a lot of eggs in the beginning. So stuff with lots of protein. I also like turkey, chicken, and stuff like that. That has high protein and fills you up at the same time. I did that. So I just counted calories for a long time. I don't do that so much anymore because it's more of a head thing. I can just work it out in my head mostly. And I'm still tempted to eat that bag of potato chips, but it's like I work it out. in my head now. But in the beginning, yeah, I had to be really pretty disciplined and just eat the good stuff. And I'm still doing that, but not to the same degree because I'm finding a balance now. A balance between exercise and eating and stuff like that. And just generally, it's helped the whole family, I think, as well, because we generally eat healthier, I think now. So, which is great, So, whole meal pasta instead of normal pasta. Whole meal, a natural rice that isn't processed, not white rice and stuff like that. So there are options which make it less boring. So just don't have to, you don't have to just eat lentils. There are many options. To eat healthier, and I think if you're making decisions to eat healthier and making small decisions here and there, then you're on the right path.
Wow. So you said something about it's in your head, and I was thinking that changing habits has a lot to do with your head, doesn't it? Like it's in your head, your thoughts, maybe your thought patterns, how you've been thinking. It just comes natural. You just think on autopilot. You don't really think about what you think. But then to make those radical changes, as you said, you for a while you had to deliberately think differently. Like you had to stop, and then you had to think new thoughts. And that's maybe that was the hardest work in the beginning, that you had to actually maybe pay out new thought patterns in your brain. Like you're so used to thinking in one way, but then you had to change your thinking, and that's maybe the toughest thing.
Of course. Yeah, that's right. I mean, your brain is a funny thing, it's craving, and as when it comes to food and stuff like that, your brain is craving what you've always eaten. So your brain is craving fats, your brain is craving sugar. And that was the hardest thing for me in the beginning. And maybe watching other people in the family eating a bag of sweets or a bag of crisps or something like that, and thinking, oh, I could just really down that bag of crisps right now, but realizing that it wouldn't help. So but that's right. It's just you have to train your brain in the beginning, and as it's like with any discipline, I suppose. And I suppose you make a good point, because you can translate it to spiritual disciplines as well. You've got to do the hard work in the beginning and discipline yourself to do it, and then as it becomes a habit, then you don't have to think about it so much. It becomes almost an automatic part of yourself. And also I think it follows along well with what the studies of the brain that people have done, where they say that you can actually change your brain, you can actually change the way your brain thinks. And these are non-Christian studies as well, that say you can, the brain can make new connections to different other parts of the brain by the way you think. And of course that supports the Bible in Proverbs, where it says, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is.
As Paul says, that we are being transformed into his image by changing our thinking, changing the way we think. And that seems like God talks a lot about our thoughts, and he says that my thoughts are higher than your thoughts, but his thoughts for us are good. And it's like he wants us to think his thoughts. And then when we do think more and more about his thoughts, it actually transforms us, and it changes us to become more like him. That's quite powerful, actually, when we really realize how much influence on our own lives we can have by changing our thoughts and the way we think. Just about being thankful. It says a lot about being thankful in the Bible, and about encouraging each other and thinking positive, and speaking positive words to each other actually
Yeah.
changes something in our relationships. For a while ago, I actually sensed that God said something to me about this, that,
Mm.
speak more encouraging words
Mm.
to people around you. And I was
Yeah.
thinking, well, am I not doing that? And I was thinking, maybe I'm a little bit negative sometimes, maybe I say stuff that it's not encouraging, or I'm focusing on the negative in situations, and then it can influence my whole day. If
Yeah.
if I start my day with like speaking negatively about the day, or about my situation, or how I feel, it can make my whole day miserable. And
Yeah.
so I thought, okay, if God said something about this, I can actually change this too. I deliberately thinking more positive, and also speaking more positive words to my family, to people around me, and sending encouragement sometimes when I don't really feel like it, but it's just like a good thing to do for my own mental
Mm.
health, and for my own
Yeah.
and for other people, of course. When they hear something positive,
Mm.
they are cheered up, and maybe feel
Yeah.
better about themselves as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, God is a good God, and He's a positive God, and that's maybe a good thing to always think when we are making changes and want to
Yeah.
make changes too. It's not like he's not having a whip kind of on our backs and saying, go make
Yeah.
some changes now. He's always encouraging and cheering on us to do
Mm.
those things.
Yeah, that's right, Øystein. And I think just want to agree with you there, because like you are a great example of like a positive person. I think the changes that you made and stuff like that. Have encouraged me as well. So I just think I just love the way that you talk positively about other people and situations, and you know uh, and an example in that area. So you've encouraged me in that area as well. So we can all gain something from each other. It's great.
Mm. So yeah, thank you. I was thinking, you've already said something about it, but I want to come back to that place when you started realizing I have to do some changes. You said something about your dad's situation, and you started thinking about your own life and your own lack of energy, and you felt miserable, or you didn't feel good about yourself. You got some kind of realization about what was in your heart. Like
Mm,
you realized, something's going on in my heart and it's not good, and I kind of invited God into that. It's maybe I'm interpreting now, but it's like
mm.
I'm kind of trying to make a point here that
Yeah.
it's all about the heart, isn't it? It's a lot
Oh
about
yeah.
how our hearts are doing, and that can decide whether or not we can be motivated or not to do some changes.
Yeah. It is about the heart. I think what motivated it for me was just the fact that looking, okay, I wanted, I started to realize, okay, I want to be the best. I want to be the
Mm.
best father I can be. I want to be
Yeah.
the best husband I can be to my wife. And
Mm.
I'm not going to be great at either of those two things if I'm, grossly overweight and have a bad physical condition,
Mm.
and maybe could get other kinds of sick diseases later on, and they're going to have to look after me. Those things ran round in my head.
Yeah.
um, I wanted to be the best support for them and blessing to them,
Yeah.
and that I think that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the future, and I was thinking
Mm.
about, okay, and also as a Christian as well, I was thinking there's so many things I want to do in life
Mm.
that I'm not finished yet, and I realized I needed more of God. And if I was going to fulfill the things, the dreams, and also the things I feel that God has called me to,
Mm.
then I also had to do something myself. I couldn't just sit back and wait and say, okay, God, when is this going to happen?
Mm.
We can't just let ourselves go. We can't just ignore our own physicality or mental state or whatever it is. ignore those things. I think when we acknowledge them to God and also to others, I think that's important as well. Then it becomes reality. I had to acknowledge the fact that I was overweight.
Yeah.
Before that, I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it because I didn't really believe it in my heart.
Yeah.
So after, it's also about calling something as it is.
Yeah.
And so when you speak it out, it becomes truth. And so I just said, okay, I'm obese. And when I said that, and I said, I'm overweight and I need to do something about it, then it becomes reality. And that helps you on the process.
Yeah. Sometimes we realize that something's not right and we want to make some changes, but it's almost like we're just beating ourselves and feeling bad about ourselves. And that's not really helping, is it, when you want to make changes?
No, it isn't. I mean, and all that's not. It's not easy either. I mean, because sometimes you wake up and you think, you feel like a sack of potatoes, or you wake up and so many things are going around in your head as well, and there can be a struggle, and sometimes you just need to take control over your thoughts and say, right, that's not the truth about me, because we also know that we have an enemy that would want to ruin our day and ruin our witness and everything. So it's just a case of saying, okay, acknowledging the truth and saying, okay, that's waking up in the morning and having lots of negative thoughts about yourself. That's not the truth about yourself. That's not what the truth God says about you. Maybe you feel it yourself, but it's not the truth that God thinks about you, and it's probably not even the truth other people think about you. So it's a case of like arresting those thoughts right in the beginning, and I'm not the best at this. I'm still struggling with this, but it's about like arresting those thoughts and saying, right, I'm going to open my Bible. I'm going to confess that what God says about me, because He loves me and He's got a plan for me, and I am created in the image of Christ. I am a new creation, no more in condemnation, etc., etc. And all this is truth, because how are we going to be effective as a witness in the world if we're not believing the truth about us? How are we going to give the truth about what God thinks about other people if we don't acknowledge the truth about what God thinks about us, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think you're so right, and that's all so important. And also what you say there is true. I want to say to you, if you're listening to this and you kind of struggle to maybe you feel shame, or you feel down, or you feel bad about yourself, what Rodger said here, the words he quoted, and the truths from God about us, it's true at the beginning of change, and it's true at the end. It's always true, even though you're having the worst day or you're having the best day. Those words are true not when you make it right, or when the changes have happened, or you are where you want to be. They are true today, and that's where you can find the grace and the courage and the power, the energy to make those changes that Rodger is talking about. And it's so important to say that there's no shame, there is no condemnation, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you struggle with. If it's about eating habits, or how you take care of your body, or it's about spiritual disciplines, reading the Bible, or in your relationships, with your spouse, with your kids, your workplace, where you live, or anything. These things are not defining who you are. These things are realities, and they are facts maybe about your situation and your life. They are not the truth. And the truth, as Jesus said, will set you free. So when we start believing the truth of God in our lives about us, who we are, they will actually set us free, and they will be like a catapult into change. They will kind of inspire us in a way that our own efforts and how we kind of, try to pull ourselves up by our hairs, or, make all these efforts, they will not be able to sustain us and keep us going in the right direction. They will keep us maybe starting, but what will keep us going, I believe, is the truth about who we are and how God has created us to be, and who he has created us to be. And I know I'm preaching now, but this is kind of, I feel that this is really important when we talk about change and making changes.
Yeah, so good what you said then as well. So yeah, just want to encourage anyone listening to the podcast, whether you're a new Christian or an old Christian or not even a Christian, but you're interested in faith, to really take hold of God, and just be honest with God and say, okay, this is where I am, and I want to be somewhere else. And just cry out to him and acknowledge, I think, like I said before, acknowledge where you are, acknowledge the truth, and then maybe tell someone, and that can be the start of your journey, to change something in your life. So Øystein, it's been really great. And also, I feel like I've been on the spot here, which is fine, which is great. And it's also been great to talk about it. And it's also part of the journey to externalize and to talk about, some of the things I've done as well.
So, Rodger, how long have you been doing this now? You've been running and you've been changing your diet for how long?
Okay, I started spring of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's about 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah.
Nearly 2 years, probably summer 2017. So yeah,
nearly 2 years. So how are you feeling today? Now, not just today, but about your own. How are you doing?
Well, physically, I'm doing a lot better. So it's good. Yeah. And I'm still working on other things as well.
Of course. We all do.
yeah. But yeah, physically I'm doing a lot better, and also that helps mentally as well. But yeah, like still lots of things I'm working on and need to work on, and that's part of the journey, and just keeping real. It's good to have good friends. I'm glad I have a good friend like you to share stuff with. I just want to encourage everyone who's listening to this to have good friends around them, good positive friends around you. And if you don't, then get some.
Yes.
It's that simple, I think.
Yeah. And I also want to encourage you to, start as Rodger did. He said, God, I need your help. I need you to help me in this situation, because, when you start realizing something and you want to do some changes, I think that's the best way. It's the best place to start, is to say, God, I need you in this. And he's faithful, and he is compassionate. He has lots of grace. He has everything we need to make small and big changes. And even though days are different, we have different good days, we have bad days, and we have, we wake up and feel good, or we wake up and we don't feel so good. And it's all, it's always grace to start a new day and say, God, I need you today. And he can change your day. He can change a bad day into a good day. And even though the day ends not so good, you have a new day tomorrow, and you can start again then.
Yeah.
Hopefully this has been some encouragement to someone. I think it's been so good to dive into some of those things that you've been through, Rodger, and also thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for being so honest and about your own situation, about what was going on that made you see a need for change, and also how you have been able to take some steps and do it. And it's been your journey, and people have different journeys. Hopefully encouragement is that it's possible, and it's possible to not just start, but also to continue and to finish, and to see some positive changes in your life. And then I believe that's possible for us all. So thank you, Rodger, for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been great. So maybe we should sign off for now and then get ready for next time.
Yes, we'll do that. We have some more stuff in our hearts that we want to share with you guys. And I hope you have enjoyed listening to this. Have a great day and God bless you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you have any comments or any questions to this podcast, don't hesitate to get in touch with us on our email address, thetalkingturkeypodcast@gmail.com, or on Twitter, the Talking Turkey Theology Podcast. Thank you again for listening and see you next time.